Good morning, everybody. Hope you're having a great weekend and enjoying yourself. I just finished my cup of coffee over here and I'm ready for a great day to start. I wanted to talk to you today about cults. It seems to me our flat earth friends are kind of turning into cults, and so I wanted to look at some of the characteristics and what to look for, and let you see if you see the same things I do. Okay? So here we go. Okay. These cults, these people that have these cults, they all have similar characteristics. And I'm not sure if these are things they're born with or they develop over time. But anyway, we can see in flat earthers like Nathan Thompson, he's probably the worst. We'll see how much he's progressing into this cult-like attitude. Orphan Red, Nathan Oakley, and even Kent Hovind all have these characteristics of a cult that I want to talk to you about. So the first one is, generally these people are charismatic, they're good looking, and there's a little bit of a sexual tension there, especially if you look at Orphan Red. She's real good about trying to be the sex pot. She complains about it, everybody noticing that, and yet that's what she wants to portray. And other people that, they have this look or this come hither look, and so this is the first characteristic of a cult, that this draws people in. You see people subscribing to these guys mainly because of their charisma and energy, youth, and this tension. The second thing I want to talk about is a narcissistic disorder. This is a psychological term, and I know practically nothing about psychology. One time I took a little class about what your personality is like, and they said, first thing they said was, don't go and analyze your friends. But here I am doing that. Nathan Oakley is Nathan Thompson is the worst about this narcissistic disorder. He thinks he's the center of the universe, and everything revolves around him. Of course, he'll tell you in his most humble opinion that, that flat and globe earth discussion group is not his group. He just runs it, and but it's still, you can definitely tell that there's narcissism there. And of course, Orphan Red is just as bad. Kent Hovind, these guys need to be the center of attention and need to be loved and adored, The third thing here is they have a grandiose self-image. They think of themselves as being somehow above the rest of us, somehow, sinless. They can do no wrong. And so they have this grandiose self-image. Again, you can look at any of these flat earthers and you'll see this grandiose self-image. There's a guy calls himself Professor Kyle Adams. He's never taken a minute of graduate school. He's never taught at a university, but he told me he calls himself the professor of the Flat Earth Institute of Science because people will come in and check it out. So that is that grandiose self-image. The next one, these all kind of go together. The next one is a sense of entitlement. I've heard Nathan on some videos, crying about how, he tried so hard and he's the best activist out there, and things just don't always go the way he thinks they should. And so they have this sense of entitlement. Number 4 or number 5 is he needs constant praise. All of these people are like that, needing constant uplifting and praise and go get them and all this stuff, proving themselves to be to have this need for constant praise. If you have watched lately, you'll see Nathan Thompson fell for a big prank, and the whole reason he fell for it is because these guys that pranked him paid to fly him out from Virginia to California. They put him up in a fancy motel. They did all this stuff. They hung out with him on Friday night, really living it up, and he was so excited because these Harvard guys would pay so much attention to him. Kent Hovind is the same way. He has his audience that views his videos live, and like a lot of preachers, he's got this need for people to tell him how good he is and how entitled he is. Number 6, boy, this one sure affects a lot of these flat earth guys. They harass critics. Nathan Thompson is absolutely the worst. I've seen him in parking lots just harassing and yelling at people because they happen to have a NASA t-shirt on or something like that. Me personally, he's told me all kinds of foul things and trying to do things that are inappropriate. I remember on one video I said, "You guys believe that this is a flat earth?" And he said, "Oh, you used the B word." And he said, "Blocked." all I did is say one sentence and I got blocked. Definitely harassing critics. Kent Hovind has this thing where he holds up a SpongeBob and hits it with a hammer. He just loves doing that to show his critics, or his critics are idiots, you know. They're just like a SpongeBob being pounded by Kent Hovind. The next one is they have Fantasies of Success. I've seen this more in Kent Hovind. You know, he'll have these debates, and then even when he doesn't do well, he'll come back with a video saying, you know, look how I debunked this evolution guy, and look how I took him down. Just, you know, he has this fantasy that every time he opens his mouth, it's success, you know. He has this dinosaur park or whatever, and he's just certain that it is the biggest success, and, you know, millions of people come to see him, to see his ideas. And, you know, Nathan Thompson is the same way. He'll talk about what a success he is, and look at, I've got this Facebook group that has 140,000 members, maybe even 500,000 members. You know, he has all these members, but he only gets about 20 posts per day average. You know, I remember Orphan Red had her, I belong to Mensa, so now I'm a genius, and what I say is true. And so they have Fantasies of Success. They have a lack of empathy. Nathan Thompson thinks it's hilarious that people died in the Challenger explosion. Just laughs about that, and, you know, talks about how they didn't really die, and oh, their relatives and friends were all crying, and that was a fallacy. Just no empathy whatsoever. And Kent Hovind, I remember, you know, probably a year ago, they had a little boy. It was a set of twins, and the family was visiting his park, and the little boy was playing by the lake, and he fell in and drowned. They found him dead, and, you know, Kent Hovind had no empathy for this person that died. He filmed the father saying, oh, this was a great day and I can't wait to bring my kids back. You know, just awful, awful, awful. No empathy whatsoever for being a pastor, a preacher. Just, it was incredible. The last one, this one I added up from on my own, but these flat earthers have no higher authority that they answer to. Nathan Thompson, he believes what he believes. He thinks he's doing right. He has this, you know, sense of entitlement, and so he'll make his videos. It doesn't matter what anybody says, and like in that prank I was telling you about, there were at least 4 of his friends that called him and said, "Hey Nathan, these guys are known for being prankers, and they're pranking you, and you better, watch what you're doing." But he didn't listen. He didn't do anything, and Kent Hovind, again, he doesn't answer to anyone. He's not part of a religious group. He can just say anything he wants to about the way the earth was created, or about things that happened, the flood, how 8 people in 200 years were able to have enough children to create the entire Egyptian race. And Orphan Red is the same way. And so they have these characteristics, all of them, and you can go to their channel and you can pick out each one of these characteristics from just about anybody you view. It's tragic because Nathan Thompson is headed down this path. He has followers that are just eating it up, hook, line, and sinker, and going with him right down the path into a cult. I just sense something that's about to happen. So, but anyway, here are some other things that happen a lot. They try to suppress unpopular ideas. So some of their things that they believe, ice wall, the height of the dome, the size of the flat earth, all these things, they don't want to talk about those. They want to talk about the common ideas, the popular things that you hear them all talking about, and all together they all talk about the same ideas, going in the same direction over and over and over. It was kind of funny. I looked at a Nathan Oakley video from 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. And he was still talking about there's no such thing as gravity, curvature of the earth, no Coriolis force, all these things that he still is preaching today. It's just amazing that you can go 3 years regurgitating the same mess, And so, like I said, they emphasize these common popular ideas, and let's just, put those others aside till later. Then the last thing today that I wanted to talk about is they're really, really trying to isolate their followers. You see this in back in the days. There were cults like Jim Jones. He took all of his followers and went to South America. He didn't want them affected by outside people. And today, nowadays, and like in the last 2 or 3 weeks, Nathan Thompson has started a new flat earth group, and he tells you he's announced already that you globe people are not welcome. They are not allowed in. Flat earth people that want to ask questions like, where's the where's the ice wall, and tell me about the dome, what is it made of, and stuff like that. He doesn't want those questions. So go somewhere else and get your questions answered. It's only his little group of followers that he wants in that Facebook group. Kent Hovind is the same way. Orphan Red, if you say anything in her comment section, if you say anything against what her video is about, she will block you immediately. She has said she doesn't want people disagreeing with what she says. And so there's all these flat earth people, and the one I'm trying to emphasize a lot right now is Nathan Thompson, because I see something dangerous there. He attacks children. He's said and that you need to catch them when they're young and do this so that you get them before they're indoctrinated, as he calls it. I heard some of his followers was real troubling. These guys were hiding in the bushes and filming and saying, this is the ideal place to flat smack people, these children, because they're at summer camp, they're away from their parents. Now you can get them and you don't have to worry about the parents. And that just was really scary, because you talk about people that target children, and I've seen Nathan Roberts dress up in a Santa outfit so that nobody could tell who he was, went down to the mall telling children, come here, I have something to give you, and just really scary until he got thrown out by security. And again, these people, they're constantly being rebuked and told, don't do this. Nathan Thompson spent a night in jail over harassing kids, and he told me even, I told him, you're going to get in trouble for harassing kids on the school ground, and he said, I said, they don't like strange men that, want to call the children over, And he said, I'm not strange. Why would you think I'm strange? And so we have all these things happening, and I'd be interested to hear your comments. If you've seen or heard anybody else, if you know of any other characteristics you want to mention that you think these cult leaders have, I'd be interested to hear. So this is all I have for you today. I hope you're going to have a good weekend, and tune in next week, okay?